just leaving Malaga now. Got the port on my left, if you can make it out. It was really weird last night. It was thick fog when I walked out the room. And 2 hours later, sorry, 2 hours earlier, it had been glorious sunshine. But then the fog quickly cleared. I managed to get some good snaps of the cruise liners and the yachts, etc. So that's good. So yeah, he's walking now to Torremolinos. Should take me about 4 or 5 hours, something like that. It's about 18k, I think it is. So I've made a bit of an early start, seeing as I was just in a capsule bed, so there's not really anywhere I could do, like, chilled out for a bit. So I just thought I'll get going. So it's about 20 past 8. The sun's not quite up yet. It's a little bit cool, but when the sun comes up, it'll definitely warm up. So hopefully I'll get to Torremolinos a bit earlier, and then I can chill out for a bit. So as you can see, we just got the port across there, where I was last night. Got some lovely shops, bars and restaurants all down the side. There's Christmas lights everywhere. It was lovely. And now just heading out of the city. I do like these tree-lined avenues and walkways that you find quite often in Spain. Something refreshing about them. So when I get to Torremolinos tonight, or this afternoon, got a friend joining me for a couple of days tomorrow. He's walking a couple of the sections with me, but tomorrow night we're in Benalmadena, and that is just literally next door to Torremolinos. So that means I get a day off from mad walking. So a bit of a rest day tomorrow. I think my feet need it at the minute. I'm on about day number 23 in Spain. I think the minimum I've done is 10k, maximum about 25, so definitely ready for a bit of a rest. Just come across some sort of outdoor theatre, just along the walkway. We're leaving the port behind now, and we start to hit beach, so hopefully I'll find a cafe shortly, because I definitely need a coffee. Looks like I'll be following the beach now for some time, possibly all the way to Torremolinos. Well, I just have to put my jacket on because it's quite chilly this morning. It's only about 13-14 degrees, but the sun's not up yet, so hopefully it should warm up soon. I just found a cafe that's open, so I'm off to Moby Dick. Just continuing down the N340A now, just bringing it inland a little bit, just going through some sort of, I don't know, wildlife area. probably protected, so there don't seem to be a path. But it will meet back up the coast shortly in about half a kilometre, I believe, maybe a kilometre. So we can follow the road for a bit now. Now we're just coming off the road actually now, and we're heading sort of back towards the coast. So I was actually on the road a few hundred metres. I'm actually near the airport now. I think it's just over that bridge to the right is Malaga Airport. Just seen a plane taking off. So then we'll go quite close to that, so hopefully I'll get a few nice shots of some aircraft. About an hour 40 done, 12:20 left, nearly halfway. Temperature dropped a bit cool at the moment, it's about 13 degrees. Sun's gone in. According to the forecast, in about 2 hours it'll be back to being about 21. But it just shows you this time of year, the sun makes a lot of difference. In the morning it's quite cool, so when the sun comes up it's glorious. And I had an early start this morning, so I think I'm noticing it more. But if you can make that out, there's a plane that's took off now. Still on the official Senda Litoral trail. And again we've got one of these newly built wooden bridges. So I think when they complete the project, and now I'm about halfway through the route, nearly halfway through, I would say the bit that they need to focus on is my first day, which was Nerja to Torremolinos, I believe it was, can't remember now. Because I didn't see any trail signs apart from once, I think. And there definitely was a bit of road walking and avoiding bits of beach I couldn't walk across, etc. I'm not sure what the completion plan is. I'll have to do a bit more research when I get back. So I didn't know much about it, to be fair, when I set off. I didn't even know it wasn't complete really. But it's not been a problem. Like I say, all I've had to do is just jump on the road, on a path. So we're just crossing the river now, hence the need for the bridge. Otherwise it would have been walking across the motorway bridge, I guess, which again probably wouldn't have been a problem, but this is more picturesque, a bit safer as well. Malaga Airport is just over there. Very nice. If we're lucky we'll get to see a plane take off in a minute. Maybe not. Quite a large river, to be fair. You know, Malaga had some flooding recently with the storm Dana, or the Dana phenomenon. Obviously I don't know whether this is any fuller than usual. I don't know what it normally looks like, but definitely more water than I've seen in some of the rivers. bridge is definitely quite a stunning structure to walk across. It looks like the path just keeps going in pretty much a straight line back towards the coast, I think, which you can just see over there. I can see a few planes there in the background. One just taking off now. Yeah, this little purpose-built trail is glorious. See some horses or ponies just across there. I'm leaving the national park now. Something I love about all the Spanish houses is all the little balconies and terraces. I suppose if we had the weather that they have here in the UK, we'd probably do the same. Not worth it for 2 months of the year. I can only describe this area as a wealthy, leafy suburb of Malaga. I think we're even closer to the airport now. Oh, got a plane taking off. That's a radar station to the airport. It's been quite a nice day walking today, to be fair. Seen various different trails, seen a little bit of sort of the residential side of Malaga, seen some lovely houses. Been through a few little mini parks, like sort of wildlife areas. You can probably hear I'm walking beside the airport, I'm playing above my head. Every day. And in the next 5 minutes we'll be heading back to the coast, so, which is my favourite place to walk. Well, I can't complain, I've had a great day and temperature's nice, it's cloudy, I'd say it's cool but not cold, it's about 14-15 degrees, just nice for walking. And the sun's going to come out in the next hour or so according to the forecast, so what more can you want? Just past the Golf Academy, Parador, Malaga. You see them all teeing off there on the driving range. We're just heading down here now. We're joining up with the beach at the end of this road. Right, I can see the sea, so we're about there, back on the coast. Definitely ready for a nice cold drink though. Hopefully there'll be a cafe or something soon. Well, we've officially hit the edge of Torremolinos, which is where I'm staying tonight, but I've still got 1 hour 20 to walk, so that suggests how long this promenade is. It looks like it's a straight line all the way down. Might treat myself to some churros if I can find some. guess I could get used to just waking up and looking at a view like this and not having to go to work and not having a care in the world apart from what time breakfast is, but I suppose at some point I'll have to be all grown up and go home and be sensible. But I've still got another week, so that's fine. Hola David!
Hola David.
Just landed.
Just landed.
Café con leche.
Sí.
Con azúcar.
Ear popped.
Ear pops. Are you going to say hello to the children?
Hello.
Filming now already. Hi David.
Hola.
Hola.
Mucha taida.
Mucha taida.
Mucha color.
Mucha color. Mucha Coca-Cola.
Agua.
Agua. So with the Spanish lesson over with, we decided to wander down to the front and look for a nice cold beer. So we set off that morning on a nice coastal walk from Benalmadena, where we were staying, to Fuengirola, our destination of that day. The weather was fantastic that morning, and it was also nice not to have to walk alone. So we continued walking further down the coast, enjoying the fantastic scenery. We then saw a beachside boardwalk, so we went down the steps and jumped on the walkway. This walkway continued on for some time, hugging the coastline and round the hotels. Also fantastic views of the bay. It was amazing. See? That's a nice little bar. Is it open? No. Must be the world's biggest catapult. With Benalmadena now behind us, we continued further down the coastline towards Fuengirola. This is a place I've never visited before, so I was quite excited to see it. Go to the left.
No, it's off the metal carrier.
Oh yeah. I'll find out. We will either be able to get up or we won't.
And just the sand.
So we headed up the steps to find ourselves back on the main road because the coast path would not go any further at that point. So we pressed on to Fuengirola with those fantastic coastal views to our left. The walk was just amazing. We seem to stop at every beach or cove to take a photo or a video of these fantastic little beaches.
See a little castle poking out above the hotel there. We're just heading down back towards the coast, and you can just see there Fuengirola in the background. Glorious sunshine, not a cloud in the sky, 21 degrees, and this route has been absolutely full of scenery. And the road will continue now, hugging the coastline all the way into Fuengirola.
I know where I am and I don't even know where I am.
So we walked through some amazing looking hotel type resort that my friend had remembered from a previous trip. The place looked very quiet and desolate, but it was early December and maybe there was not a great demand that time of year.
Well, we're just coming down into the outskirts of Fuengirola now. You can just see there in the background. So we're just heading down into the edge of the town. Glorious sunshine and glorious views, what more can I say?
We took any opportunity that we could to jump back on the beach and walk across the sand or the familiar boardwalks that we keep finding. headed out into the evening and had a wander around Fuengirola, around the shops, bars and restaurants. Bush of Pati.
I'm just leaving Fuengirola and walking to La Cala de Mijas. Con mi amigo. Sat there last night having a not so quiet Guinness. And spent a few hours on this little strip here, which is where you probably call the centre of the nightlife. Seen it all now. Just now leaving Fuengirola and entering La Cala de Mijas, which I don't know anything about. So we've got about an hour walk till we get to the centre of La Cala de Mijas. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Luckily slightly cooler than yesterday, still about 19-20 degrees, but there's a nice breeze, so it makes a difference when walking a long way. Now at La Cala de Mijas, walking around the coastal path, so I'll be probably join back onto the main road. False advertising, Dave.
See?
No nudistas.
No.
Ah. So as you can see across the bay there is the town of La Cala de Mijas. Just approaching that now. About 20 minutes, half an hour walk away I'd say. Don't know much about it, just a little seaside town, falls on earth. Actually staying back in Torremolinos tonight. So the plan is I'm going to walk a bit further I believe and get a bus back. My mate's flying home tomorrow morning and I'm getting a bus back to where we finished walking today, and I'm going to continue walking on my own.
Just
nice, I can see the sea peeking through between all the villas and the houses.
So we continued on this fantastic wooded boardwalk. It's purpose built for the Senda Litoral. It seemed to go on for miles. And it was so helpful being able to just walk in a straight line around the coast without having to jump on and off roads and up steps.
So the large section of wooden walkways with the tinted red, I believe are the purpose-built sections of the Senda Litoral that they've been trying to link up for the last few years, where the route is not complete yet, but they've been linking like coves and points and coastlines where you can't get naturally from one place to another with these little walkways. And that's just a good example of the section that I've just walked, is where without those there's no way you could have got around the coastline. So it'll be great when the whole project is complete. Hopefully this will go on for some more time today. Yeah, we come to another little section that takes you around the coastline.
walkway seemed to get more impressive the further we pressed on, and the scenery was just absolutely out of this world.
Yes, this is someone's back garden, and yes, this is the official Senda Litoral route. Well, like a pub or restaurant, to be fair. I think the alternative option is you go around on the beach, however, it's like something's been washed away there. But yeah, this section of linked up purpose-built walkways has been on for a couple of kilometres now, and it's just amazing, and I think it just keeps going. So not marking you on, easy on the feet as well. We're just heading around this corner towards some sort of a harbour or little marina. Time to stop for a drink, I think.
So with my friend having to catch a flight from Malaga airport the next morning, we stayed in the nearby Torremolinos where we'd been previously. So we jumped on a bus from La Cala de Mijas, caught the train at Fuengirola, which took us back to Torremolinos. We headed out into the town that evening. The Christmas lights throughout Torremolinos town were amazing, and so were the Christmas trees. I'd never been inside a Christmas tree before, I bet there's a first time for everything.
So I just got off the bus at La Cala de Mijas where we walked past here yesterday, me and my friend, and he's now took a flight home, so I'm carrying on the walk now.
I guess the best way I could describe La Cala de Mijas is a charming coastal town with a really relaxed atmosphere and just fantastic beaches, a great location to explore Costa del Sol.
Right, so I'm just now at the cafe where we turned around yesterday. I'm now walking solo. I retraced my steps on the last 6k because it was such an amazing walk. So now I'm going to be walking to the east side of Marbella. I think we've got about 4k to walk for the day, that's all. So with it being a nice easy day today, I thought I would retrace my steps on that amazing boardwalk. It goes on for a good few miles. Just approaching what looks like a little harbour or marina, so past this, and then the map suggests there could be some sand dunes. I'm hoping this boardwalk goes through. That'll be interesting. Looks like now I'm officially in Marbella, even though that does stretch for a good 20k. Well, this little harbour was a nice surprise. I wasn't expecting luxury yachts. Thought there might be a few little fishing boats and that's it, but wow. And we just entered the sort of like the borough of Marbella, the Ayuntamiento. But Marbella is a long stretch of 20 plus k. The route's actually taking me through a car park. Which seems the only way to be able to get from the harbour out. So we're at the dunes. Looking at that map, you can't go along the front, however this one suggests that you can. I think that one's just for people with disability, so I'm going to try and follow the coastal route. We'll see how far we can get. It looks like the walkway just go all along the front. Oh, that looks amazing. So the sand dunes just approaching now, look pretty spectacular, and I'll be walking all the way through the middle of them with the sea to my left. Passage through the dunes is actually the official Senda Litoral route as well, so I thought I was taking a detour, but I'm not. This is the route. But as you see, there we go. So anyone walking this, yeah, the Google Maps won't take you this way on the walking route, but this is the correct route. Right, I've just come off the dunes. I've got to go down this lane here to meet back up with the main track. It's a bit not clear on that junction there. I carried on going a little bit further, ended up on the beach with nowhere else to go, so I just had to retrack my steps, but there was no signage telling you to come down here. But this is the only way I can see on Google Maps where I can link up with the boardwalk, with the main road or the main path, because on that beach you just hit a brick wall and a private residence, so you can't go any further. So we're going in the right direction here, so this will do. Well, I need to be across on the road at the other side of that ravine or river or whatever it is, so I'll have to just keep following this road until it comes across a bridge. I was hoping to try and take a shortcut, but that's not happening. Looks like an old riverbed, but it's very dry. I know there's severe droughts going on at the minute, but I can only assume this is usually a flowing river. Well, we're back on the main track now, so sat nav's happy. Mounting to what looks like a very, very nice housing estate. Or urbanisation is called in Spanish. That's probably how you pronounce it. I definitely could live in one of these houses. I just got a glimpse of the sea, so we're only a few hundred metres away from the beach. Some glorious sunshine, Paris in the trees, balconies facing the sun, and the Mediterranean Sea in the background. Yep, that'll do. Nearly every house seems to have a sun terrace or balcony, don't blame them. Don't get better views from your bed than that. Nothing like home cooked pizza on your balcony. Right, so just leaving East Marbella, where I stayed last night in a private apartment. It was beautiful. A lot of money's worth around here. A lot of the businesses seem to be like either real estate or there's a hi-fi and audio-visual shop there. It's quite a residential area, this. So I'm just now heading for the main road, because for the next 8k it's impossible to walk on the beach on the front anywhere near. So this is the bit that they haven't built yet on the Senda Litoral, and I woke up with a swollen foot as well, so I'm doing one of the longest stretches, feeling not too great. So absolute worst case scenario, I am on a bus route, but I'm sort of determined to walk it all. But I'm going to do 8k on the main road, and then after that 8k I can drop back to the promenade, which continues all the way to Port Banús, where I'm staying tonight. Now, I have walked that stretch about 5 years ago, so I know from Marbella centre, like town, sort of city area, to Port Banús is completely walkable and all promenades, so I'm not worried about that. It's just the next 8k that's a bit unknown. I'm not even sure if this main road I can easily walk along it, but we'll see. It looks like a motorway, but we'll find out in a few minutes. So up to now, looking like walking beside the road is a viable option, so I'm going to keep going as long as I can. It's just the Google Maps from where I stayed last night to Port Banús, driving says 21k. You put the walking option, it goes to 29k and takes you a ridiculous detour about 3k up, round and back down. So I'm just gonna have to see what happens. So I'm more than halfway across the stretch that's unwalkable by the coast. So anybody walking the Senda Litoral, there's one section on the Google Maps where it will just take you completely out of the way for no apparent reason, but when you put the driving route in, it's 8 kilometres shorter. Now there is a footpath that runs beside the road, so I don't know why Google Maps doesn't want you to walk down it, but you can. I'm doing it. Well, within the next kilometre I should be able to find my way back to the coast and pick up the seafront promenade paths, whatever that looks like. Not been a bad walk, to be fair. It's been, sun's been still quite low because it's still quite early. It's not been too hot and the breeze is nice, so I managed to walk this section fairly quickly. We should be approaching Marbella central area shortly. Just got to find a way to come off towards the coast. I think next junction are going to be coming off. Looks like the roadway that links up with the coastal path, so that's my plan. So the way it seems to work is each turn off will go to a separate urbanisation, and a lot of those houses have then their own sort of seafront view, but there's nothing in front apart from the beach. No waterway's just there. They're like houses right on top of the beach. So until they build the boardwalk in front, unless you do like one hell of a lot of beach walking, which is very hard going on the feet, definitely something I couldn't do today with the way my foot is, then like I say, this is the only other way at the moment, but hopefully they will link up the 8k from the current boardwalk that exists to where I came on it, just sort of where the sand dunes are. So that's where it needs to link up to, with the sand dunes. That's where I lost the trail, that's where it ended. I've just come into like a gated private residence, but it looks like this road does hook up to the front. We'll see what happens. Yeah, luckily I just found a sign saying public way to the beach, so I'm on the right trail. So just down here should be on the promenade. Don't think it's quite a promenade yet, I think it's more just a beach track, but and there we have it. What a view. First time I've seen the sea since breakfast. Been walking beside the main road. Hopefully we'll get a bit of sun now. I've been in the shade, even though yes, it was nice to walk in the shade. Ready for a bit of sun now. So this is where I've come out off the main road. Palm Beach, Los Monteros, Playa Realajo. We're back on the familiar boardwalk. So, according to my research, I have now a full walkable stretch all the way to Torremolinos on the front, where there'd be boardwalk, promenade. Like I have walked some of it before 5 years ago, further down towards Torremolinos. I know that is all promenade. And I believe tomorrow 80 to 90% of the section is complete too, so quite looking forward to that. So I've not walked that section either, so that'll be all new as well. Got some more sand dunes here that we're going over. Another glorious sunshine day. In the 28 days I've actually been in Spain, I've only had rain for a couple of hours on one day. And that was the day I was ill in bed, day number 2. This is Puerto de Marbella.
Marbella is notorious for its gangsters, celebrities, famous footballers and stars, so I've kept my eyes peeled but I didn't see anyone. Apparently Rod Stewart, Conor McGregor amongst a few people that have their homes out here. This playground for the rich and famous didn't disappoint. There were some fantastic bars and restaurants, but the prices were quite scary. I continued walking west towards the famous Torremolinos. I just kept the beach to my left and I couldn't wait to arrive at that exclusive marina.
We're just 5k, well I'm 5k now from Torremolinos, where I'm staying tonight. Torremolinos is renowned for the rich and famous, gangsters, footballers, celebrities, and I think the prices reflect that. Just wandered into a little beach restaurant there to get, well I thought might be a little sandwich and a drink to find. The cheapest thing on the menu was about €40 and that was for a cheeseburger. Yeah, my Coke Zero cost me 8 and I politely left. But yeah, so it'll be an experience. I've been here before once for a couple of hours. Fantastic yachts in the marina. There's a lot of money there. Possibly have a few beers tonight. I think it's definitely just a playground for the rich and famous.
I enjoyed wandering around the exclusive marina, looking at the wealth of boats and yachts. It was amazing. I also had a look around the little boutique shops, and you need a decent bank balance for that though. Torremolinos is known for its high mooring fees, and believe it or not, it's going to set you back more than €4,000 a day to moor a boat here. But don't worry, if you only have a small boat, it only costs you a measly $16,000 a year, so it's not all bad. I fancied a quick bite to eat, but with the average meal around the harbour costing between €1,300, I decided to head inland a little bit and find something a bit quieter.
This hotel's like a little village, it's lovely. Right, so just leaving Torremolinos, walking down the main road for probably 2k, because the seafront path does not exist and I can't get round unless I walk on the beach, so I'm just going to walk down here until the path starts again. I'm having to rethink my plans for tomorrow. My plan was I need to be back in Malaga tomorrow night because I'm flying early Monday morning. Plan was I was going to get up early and walk to Manilva, which is the sort of end of the route. However, what I didn't realise, it's a bank holiday and it doesn't look like the bus service is very reliable or even existing from Manilva. So I can get an airport transfer to Malaga, where I'm staying tomorrow night anyway, so I'd only have to get the train from Malaga airport. If I get the transfer from the hotel, they have an airport shuttle. So it looks like I'm not going to be able to do with the last little section of the walk, which is annoying, but I don't end up not being able to get back to Malaga, and I can't right now see any route on tomorrow on the bank holiday to be able to do that, so I will reassess when I get there. There's always going to be a bit of a tight day Sunday anyway, so like I said, I'd have about 14k, or might be 16k to walk to Manilva, and then you could only get a bus Manilva to Estepona, then I've got to get a bus Estepona to Malaga. But it looks like only one bus runs tomorrow from Estepona to Malaga, from what I can see online. So I'll find out more when I get there, but it's just looking like it's going to be realistically impossible to walk this 14k and get back to Malaga, so I don't miss my flight on Monday morning. I'm back at work on Tuesday, so I don't have any other option to delay, unfortunately. So that's what it's looking like at the moment, but I will reassess when I get to Estepona. Sign for Estepona, which is good news. We've got some way to walk though, but we're getting there. I'm just heading off the main road now, back towards the beach, where the coastal route begins and takes me all the way through into Estepona. Apart from, I think there's a tiny little section that I have to go around that isn't complete. So we're back on the coastal trail now. Nice to feel that sun. When you're walking beside the main roads, you're normally shaded because of all the buildings, etc. So it's so much nicer to be beside the sea. Don't get me wrong, it is nice to walk in the shade when you've got quite a distance to do as well, but yeah, nothing beats that scenery. I think that's Estepona, just sort of there where I'm heading. It's the first red and white marking of the trail I've seen since Nertha, so I suggest this bit was original and have just added on to this. Lovely walk down here though, beautiful. There's cactuses, palm trees and the sea, and got a lovely paved surface to walk on. There's a lot of bikers, cyclists. Looks like all the hotels around here are closed for the winter there. Funny saying the word winter when it's 22 degrees.
As I walk today across a mix of familiar boardwalk and concrete paved areas, through communities and past beaches and scenic coves, down motorways, and experience the sound of heavy traffic one moment that contrasts with the ocean waves and the chirping of the parrots the next, I realised that this trip was so different to anything that I've ever done before. I think I found myself in Spain. I didn't want to leave. But with a return to usual daily life on the horizon, I made the most of the last remaining hours, but I vowed to make this type of adventure something that I'd definitely return to in the future.
think this section of the walkway needs a little bit of TLC.
One of the things I've enjoyed so much about this trip has been enjoying the variety of food, exploring the traditional Spanish tapas, having a fantastic paella, or even ordering the Italian dishes that you get so often around Spain. But a holiday for me is nothing without a good curry, and I've had a fair few of those. I can honestly say that from my previous experiences, curry in Spain wasn't that great, but this time did not disappoint. I was over the moon. I have fallen in love with the Spanish chocolate milk though. It's got to be one of my favourites.
You can just see Estepona coming into view there. About half an hour left to walk, and that's my final destination for today.
So I finally arrived in Estepona, which was my final destination of that trip. I wandered through the historic centre with narrow streets and flower-filled squares and the authentic Spanish ambience. The Christmas lights were amazing though, by far the best of anything I've seen this trip, and I've seen some amazing ones.
So I'm waiting here for the Malaga bus. I had no other option, unfortunately, than to go this morning because there was no other options. It's been a great time anyway. Sort of been here for 28 days now, and I've seen a lot of good stuff and walked some serious miles. I had to get the Malaga bus this morning. There was no other option, unfortunately.
I spent my final day wandering around the fantastic port of Malaga. I didn't get a chance to do it very well before because of the fog. Malaga had such an amazing atmosphere. I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. So I headed for the airport with a very heavy heart for my flight home, but I knew I would be back soon.